Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I'm the Gothic Rose, and this is the dark tale of the day. Let me take this moment to reintroduce myself. I am the Gothic Rose, hostess of the Dark Entertainment Network. This is a channel where the news meets conspiracy theories and makes babies in my brain, and it comes out my mouth. I do this because I enjoy it. If you like this type of content, please follow along, because I'm not going to stop. Hello, dear fiends of the den. To finish out the week with Haunted Hollywood, I'm not just talking about ghosts of actors gone, but the ghosts that live in Hollywood now, meaning the things that people are afraid to speak out about, the blind items. Now, there's many content creators covering the It Ends With Us trial who are having their videos silenced, removed, the algorithm is off, their Wikipedia pages and IMDb pages are off. But darker than that is the 2005 tale of the movie Waiting. Listen to the whole story and let me know what you think. So let's chat about Waiting. All right, 2005, it's a comedy, and it takes place over a single day at this fictional restaurant called Shenanigans. It is directed and written by Rob McKittrick, and it stars Ryan Reynolds, Anna Faris, and Justin Long. So this was McKittrick's first directorial debut, and he wrote the screenplay while working as a waiter himself. And it was produced on a very modest budget. It was $3 million, but it grossed 18.6 million at the box office, and it also has Louise Guzman, She McBride, and David Ketchner, and it just is, this humorous way of dealing in a restaurant for a day. You know, I wasn't crazy about the movie, but if you liked it or didn't like it, let me know in the comments. Now let's talk about the reviews. All right, so this movie has mixed reviews. IMDb, it holds a rating of 6.7 out of 10, and this is based on over 100,000 user ratings. But Rotten Tomatoes, the critics score gave it 30%, while the audience score is more favorable at 75%. I guess I am more of a critic than the audience. So, it is funny. It has a cult following, but like I said, not a movie for me, but it has a lot of darkness now behind it. So let's talk about that. Ryan Reynolds is a Gen Xer. If you didn't know, he is my age. He was born October 23rd, 1976, and he began his acting career at the age of 13, landing a lead role in the Canadian teen soap opera Hillside, also known as 15, which aired from 1991 to 1993, and this show was produced by Nickelodeon and marked his first significant step into the entertainment industry. So, as we all know, he grew up in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So, we've heard from Joey Lawrence that he was difficult on the set of Boltneck. But was he also difficult on the set of Waiting? Well, according to this actress, yes. So, trigger warning, this does contain harassment and some adult incidents. If you do not wish to listen, thank you for listening up until this point. Let's get into the darkness of the movie Waiting. Now, this blind item was dated Monday, August 1st, 2016. It is titled Today's Blind Items. I Worked on a Yacht, Part 1. And yes, I am looking for Part 2. So the first portion is written as an introduction from a friend of the actress, and it reads, A few weeks ago, I was talking to a longtime friend. Her show had just been canceled, and work prospects were looking a little grim for this season of shows. It was probably going to be a lot of guest starring roles rather than recurring, and definitely no main roles. At some point, we started talking about yachting, and she had admitted she had done it a couple of times to supplement her income. Early summer can be slow, and she speaks French, which makes things much easier. I asked her if she wanted to write about her experience. She agreed. I changed some of her descriptions to make them a little harder to guess, but other than that, it's pretty much how she wrote it. And this is what the actress wrote. I'm an actress, a generally out of work actress. If not for voiceover work, things would be bleak right now. I had high hopes for this past year, but the show I was starring on got canceled. It happens a lot. I was on a hit network show for a few years, just a recurring role. It was a vicious, backstabbing show. Oh, not for the guys, but for the women on the show. The women who were the original cast members were fiercely protective over their turf. Unless you were a female A-lister just coming in for a week or two, they would do whatever they could to show you the door. I came into it about halfway through the run of the show. Here I was on a great show, but I was not guaranteed anything other than one episode at a time. The main cast were locked in. Whether they appeared in a certain week or not, they got paid. What also hurt me is that I couldn't get other work just in case this show needed me. Meanwhile, for a whole season, I would sit waiting by the phone. Meanwhile, I still had all my expenses, and the money was quickly being drained from my bank account. I was on the show that I started, it was on that show that I started talking with another actress. While we waited for a scene to be set up, we would talk a lot. Hours of free time gives you a lot of time to discuss things, everything. It was not that long ago that I worked every week in a pretty good show and made quite a lot of money. I decided to buy a house. Then the star of the show got tired of acting, and just like that, the show ended and I was scrambling. I told her this story, and she said I should think about heading to Europe for the summer. She had done it before. She didn't tell her boyfriend at the time, who is now her husband, about it. He thinks she was there to do some magazine shoots and promotional appearance for products. The more she talked about it, the better it sounded. I have been on television since I was 10. In my home country, everyone knows me for a certain role I did when I was young. Throughout my teen years, I worked a lot, almost full time. The job didn't pay as much as a network show, but things were good. At the time, you think things will always be great and you will work full time. So I didn't save as much as I should. I was young and thought the money would just keep rolling in. It didn't. As I got a little older, the parts I landed were bigger and paid more, but they were more infrequent. I would get a network show. It would last for 2 years, and the money was great for those 2 years, but then it would get canceled, and you would be looking for another job the next year. By the time you landed the next show and got paid, most of the money you made in the last show was gone. I'm not complaining, just trying to explain. Each week, you never know if your job would be lost. Will the show be canceled? Will the audience hate your character and you get fired? Will you ever get another job if you do get fired? I remember on my first movie, I thought I knew everything. I had been working for a decade and breezed into work, excited about this new challenge. I think it was on day 3 of the movie when I was told I had to have sex with a lead actor in the movie or I would lose my job. The thing is, I had known this actor for a long time. Apparently, he is the one who had me cast in the movie, and now it was payback time. I didn't know he cast me. I didn't know he liked me like that. My network show I had just been on just ended. I had nothing lined up at this movie, and a crap movie someone talked me into doing. I needed this paycheck. I did it. I slept with the guy. I have hated him ever since. I have never seen anything he's ever done. He's an effer who took advantage of the situation. I had known him almost my whole life, but he was willing to have me fired unless I did the deed with him. On a side note, after filming, I went to do a guest shot on a television show supposedly leading to recurring, and the lead actor in that show said he heard from the actor I had relations with that I was good to go. I said I wasn't good to go, and I wouldn't be doing that with the lead of the show. Instead of the recurring role I was promised, it was a one off thing. A week later, they brought in someone who would do the lead actor, and she got the recurring role. So back to the present day, and this is now the narration. The actress I was talking to made it sound super easy and that she only had to do things a few times with guys while yachting and that it was mostly partying and being arm candy. I asked her what I needed to do, and she said she would introduce me to the person who can make it happen. So tomorrow the actress goes yachting. I know that there is a lot to digest in there, but that was all allegedly from the movie Waiting. So I did find part 2, which I will put in a special episode tomorrow. So this one's not too long. But what do you think about this? So now we pop over to Reddit, and people are calling this situation R word. Being forced into those acts under duress is, as someone said, effing R word. This all makes sense, is a comment. Ryan is as rotten as him. And that Baldoni was surely after sex with his wife because that's what Ryan would have and had done. So, what this person is saying is that Ryan Reynolds believes that Justin Baldoni is that type of person because that's the type of person Ryan Reynolds is. Very interesting. Another person comments, I knew stuff was going to start to come out, but I didn't think it was that bad. So, really interesting. Someone else says, if all this is true, and it certainly wouldn't surprise me, imagine all of the Blake Ryan apologists not taking the side of a woman with legit accusations. The amount of mental gymnastics and hypocrisy they would be doing is astounding, just thinking about it. But remember, Blake Lively is also an apologist for Harvey Weinstein and Woody Allen. So it is interesting, you know. So the way that this was all figured out on Reddit was someone wrote, it's Vanessa Legnes, the actor she knew for a while in her age group, in that exchange for a role was either Zac Efron or Shiloh Fernandez in We Are Your Friends. The crap movie was Happy Birthday, and the actor who wanted her to sleep with him for a bigger role on the TV show was Ryan Hansen on Resident Advisor, which she did right after the crap movie. The co-star who was yachting is now married is either Diana Argon or a domestic abuser, Naya. Now, someone else commented with no. She said she had relations with the lead actor in her first movie, which was Waiting in 2005 and starring Ryan Reynolds. Her network series, American Dreams, would have just been ending, so the timeline matches up, and that would make sense that he's known her since she was young. They both grew up acting in Canada and surely crossed paths. Everything you mentioned would have been 10 years later. I agree with the yachting co-star's thought. So this is all about Waiting, the role of Natasha, the perfect man, the role of Amy Pearl. So that has all of it there. And it was one of the women in the role. So who do you think this woman is? Because it has not revealed her, but it doesn't paint Ryan Reynolds in a very good light. So let me know what you think, dear fiends, and thank you for joining me in the den.